Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's final training session for QuickFile this week. Congratulations, you guys are making it through the rest of the entire program. My name is Brett Roberts. I will be your trainer for this afternoon's training session. I want to direct your attention over to the right-hand side of your screen where you will see your dashboard. On your dashboard, you should be able to view your questions section. Feel free to open up that question section and ask any questions at any time. I will be answering all questions at the end of the webinar. So as they come through, I'll monitor them and answer the questions at the end of the webinar. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Today we're going to be talking about the rest of the QuickFile program. Yesterday we spoke about the Clients drawer, and in the Clients drawer we can store all of our clients, our policies, our policy notes, anything that pertains to the client and their policies, and any of the images that you might attach, any notes that you might have taken, any accord forms that you might have stored. So today when we open up the Prospects drawer, you'll notice that it's a carbon copy of the Clients drawer. I have a couple of prospects in here. I can store policy information or potential policy information. I can add memos. I can even issue a policy from here when that client purchases. I can do all kinds of things from here. Also note that we can still look at our inactive clients and we can still look at our active clients. So as you can see, we're just defaulting to the prospects. All right, it's a carbon copy of the Clients drawer. Let's go ahead and go back out to the main menu. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We're going to skip over the Rolodex for just a second. We're going to scroll down here to the videos. When I click on the videos, you will be able to download the videos directly from our website into your computer, and you can then view those videos at any time. The videos are, some of them are a bit antiquated, but they are current and up to date with as far as functionality is concerned. Some of the things might have changed, but the overall functionality remains the same. All right, let's go ahead and close out our videos. If you do want other videos, we do have them all available to you online. If you don't want to download them onto your computer, we do have them all available online at qqonline.com or quickfile.net. Okay, just look for the videos Starburst. On Tuesday, we talked about our Utilities drawer. The Utilities drawer is where we set up our QuickFile program. Okay. Over here on the right-hand side, we have quickfile.net. If I click on quickfile.net, it will actually take us to our current QuickFile website. That will be changing at the end of the month, and we'll be launching a brand new website at qqonline.com. So our current QuickFile and qqonline.com will be replaced with the brand new website. Look for information coming at the end of the month on that. Up above that, we have our Forms drawer. The Forms drawer is really simply designed to carry blank forms, hold blank forms. What we do not do with these particular forms in this particular drawer is we do not store them and save them in the Clients drawer, which means that you cannot edit and add any client information and expect it to get saved to the client. When we open up that drawer and look at it, you'll notice that all of the same accord forms that we have in the Clients drawer are listed here. However, with one exception, if I open up an Accord 25, a certificate of liability, okay, you'll notice that the only thing that gets brought over is my agency information, but there's absolutely no functionality attached to this accord form. I physically have to type in everything that I want in this accord form, and if I expect this accord form to be saved to my client, I'm wrong. Okay, you cannot save it to the client here. So we always recommend that if you're going to do any forms that need to be attached to the client, that you do it from within the Clients drawer. Now you're saying to yourself, okay, well that's really nice, Brett. Glad you got the blank forms. What would I possibly use these for? Well, let's say you're running out on a call and you need to take a couple of accord forms with you, and you don't have a laptop, okay, so you're not going to be using that. You can simply print these forms out, take them with you, fill out the appropriate information, come back to the office and enter them in. All right, so that's really the primary purpose of the blank accord forms with no functionality or integration into the QuickFile system. All right, so that's your accord forms. If I click on Return, take me back to my screen. If I need accord forms for the other states, again, we've talked about this throughout the program this week, but let's just go ahead and reiterate it here. If I need forms for different states, I just simply click on the Show Forms for all states, and I would be able to grab those Accord forms. Okay. I'll go ahead and go to the main menu. All right, and now let's go ahead and talk about the Rolodex. The Rolodex is our contact manager. And give me just a second, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it up for you. We bring up the Rolodex, you will see, there it is on our screen. This is where we store all of our company information. All right, for our insurance companies, we also store all of our lien holder information here. We store all certificate holders, any employee information, such as licenses, attachments, photos, okay, and other contacts. Okay, so that's what we're storing in our Rolodex. Now, we also have a quick launch feature in the Rolodex. If you have both Quick Quote and QuickFile, okay, you'll see both icons listed right here. If I click on this, it will actually launch the Quick Quote program, and if I click on the QuickFile icon, it'll launch the QuickFile program. What's that mean to you? Well, what it means to you is that the Rolodex can be opened and be used throughout the course of the day, and QuickFile doesn't have to be opened at all. All right, so if you wanted to launch QuickFile, you could and open it up. Down just below those, we have our options buttons. I open up the options. This is personal preference, guys. I can't tell you exactly what you need to do here. All I can tell you is that you can set the Rolodex up to perform a certain way on your computer. Maybe you always want the Rolodex up, so you want to display it always on top. Or maybe you want to display it in the system tray when it's minimized. Okay? If that's the case, then display it in the system tray when it's minimized. Okay? If you need to display it in the system tray when clicking on the X button, that's fine. You can do that too. Or you can launch the Rolodex at Windows Startup. That means that when you open up Windows and you log into Windows, QuickFile or the Rolodex will launch with it. All right, and you also have the ability that if you close QuickFile, you'll close the Rolodex. Okay, so these are all personal preferences. You guys can come in here and make those decisions as you see fit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We are on our enterprise version of our software. If I click on the drop-down menu, okay, I can change my Rolodex options or my Rolodex features in order to see all companies that are listed in the Rolodex, or if I want to see just one office, or if I want to see a different office, I can select that from my filter. I say all, it's going to list all the companies up here. Browse. Oh, I don't have any other contacts. Here's my Rolodex companies. And then you can see I have Hialeah, Homestead. So I have all the insurance companies listed for all agencies here. So I can view all of them. Okay. Now, depending on your settings in your utilities, will depend on what people in each of your offices will be able to see. Okay, so it depends on if they have access to just one or two agencies or to all agencies. Again, completely and totally up to you. All right, along the top we have these buttons over here. We can search for a company. I can type in the first few letters of a company and find it. So there's Drive. Okay. Or if I want to, I can click on this and this little icon over here. I can bring back everybody. Click on the Browse button. It'll bring back all my insurance companies. If I want to, I can add a new company, a new contact, a new memo. I can also skip to a different section, such as lien holders, certificate holders, other contacts, or employees. All right. So if I happen to be on the Rolodex companies, and let's say I want to add a new certificate holder, and I say New Certificate Holder Company, okay? And it says, oh, select your agency, okay? And then I say Add New Certificate Holder Company. There we go. Now I can add a new certificate holder, okay? So that's really all we're doing here. Okay, let me go ahead and go back to my Rolodex companies. Let me click on Browse to let me bring back all my companies. There's a couple of things that you need to know about the insurance companies now. Oh, and by the way, you can delete companies out of here, but remember, guys, if you delete anything out of QuickFile, it is permanent. Same thing goes with the Rolodex. It's gone. I know we've been harping on that all week long, but I can't stress to you enough the importance of not deleting anything out of the system unless it's absolutely necessary. Move it to inactive, move it to active, move it somewhere else, okay? Unless it's totally necessary. Okay? All right. Okay, so my insurance companies, let's talk about that for just a second. Now, when I click on my insurance companies, if I have the insurance company highlighted here, I have my company information, my contact information, any attachments, QuickBridge, memos, and Accord Forms tabs. These are all tabbed out. Okay? What happens is when you start to enter in an insurance company and you put in their name, everything from this point forward relates to that insurance company. It's not going to relate to 21st Century Select. It's not going to relate to ARA Casualty. It's only going to relate to that insurance company, just like the client. Okay? Remember, if we add a client, we add a policy, then that all pertains to that client. Okay? Well, this is exactly the same thing. Now, as you can see, here I have my company name listed. I have their FEIN number. I have their NAIC code. If I'm using QuickQuote, okay, I would want to have their QQ abbreviation listed here just simply so that QuickQuote knows what company to look for when it's transferring information. I also have the rating here, their AM Best rating, and then I have their broker ID. I have the address, place for the suite number, the city, state, and zip. I also have a place for contact information. All right, this would be my primary contact. So it might be your marketing rep or your sales rep. All right, and then their phone numbers and their local phone numbers and maybe cell phone numbers. You also have a place to store email addresses. As you can see, I have my email address listed here. Okay, this is my email address, broberts@qqonline.com. I also have my associate Amy's email address here at aharmon@qqonline.com. We also have website information, so if I wanted to, maybe I wanted to put the website here. If I click on the little E, it'll take me directly to the website. Any note that I want to put down here, I can do that. If I change any information here, like for example, let's say I add a claims phone number, 800-555-1212, if I try to go to the next tab or I try to move somewhere else in this, I'm going to get this little button or this little box that pops up. And it's going to say, would you like to update the company information? Okay, so anytime you change anything, you have to update the insurance company's information. I can simply say yes to save the information that I changed. Now, just to prove my point, we go back to company information, and there it is. The information was saved and updated, so it stored that information. In my contact screen, I do have a place for multiple contacts. I can list as many contacts as I want to. We don't limit you on the number of contacts you can store. We don't limit you on the number of items that you can place in here. Okay, this could actually get rather large, and that's fine. You can store as much as you want in here. It'll hold it. Street addresses, suite numbers. There's a place for additional notes on individual contacts because you might have multiple contact with them throughout the course of the day, so you'll want to make a note. If that's the case, then please feel free to enter your notes in here. You do have a place to store attachments. If I want to store an attachment here, I can do so. I can attach any files that I want to. If I click on Attach File and I want to browse my computer for that file, I simply click on Browse. Okay. Give it a description. Okay. And now that file has been attached. There it is. Oh, I didn't mean to put that in there. That was Amy and I. We were fighting over a soda the other day. So at any rate, Amy won, by the way. Okay, so if I wanted to attach that file, I could. If I wanted to detach that file, I could delete it and archive it. I could delete it permanently, or I can not delete it at all. if I just clicked on do not delete, it would not delete it. If I wanted to edit the description of that, I certainly could. I would edit my description, and maybe I wanted to name it something else. Okay. All right. Next, we have QuickBridge information. And in our QuickBridge information, we can store the company's website address or their login website address. You are allowed to copy and paste here using right-click functionality. This is the only place in the entire program where if you highlight something on another screen and you right-click and hit copy, you can come into here and you can right-click and hit paste. Okay, this is the only place in the entire program where this functionality is allowed. Otherwise, you will have to use your shortcut keys to copy and paste any information into QuickFile. Okay? The Rolodex is a little bit different in that it allows for copying and pasting with right-click functionality in the actual Rolodex itself. Okay? So just keep that in mind when you're working with the Rolodex. Now, the main website, the login website. We do have a place for policy, billing, and claims inquiry if there's a specific website address. However, please note that due to layered securities on each carrier's website and depending on how heavily secured it is, we simply cannot get beyond those layers of security to automatically log you in. It is literally impossible to do so. Okay? So that's why we have real-time inquiry and real-time billing inquiry for just that purpose, so that you can actually get into the information that you want to directly from the QuickFile software. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Feel free to post those in there, but if you're expecting QuickFile to log you in, it's not going to happen just simply, again, because of the way the carrier designed the website. It isn't anything that we can do. And again, nothing that's completely and totally out of our hands. All right? But if you did add any information, like especially the main website or the login, and you clicked on Bridge, it would jump you to that information. Okay? Next, we have a place called Memos. I can store any memos here that I want to. These memos, unlike the client memos, these are, you can edit an existing memo. You can remove it and change it. Okay, you can actually delete it out. You can add new ones. So if you wanted to add a new memo, you could certainly do that. But if you wanted to add information to this, negotiating new contract, call back Monday. If I click on Update, it tells me the memo was updated, and there's the additional information. Notice that it didn't stamp a time and a date. It left the original date and time. Okay, so if I wanted to stamp a time and date to that, I would have wanted to just say add new and add new memo. And just a reminder, guys, for each tab that you're in, okay, if I'm in a contacts tab and I click on add new, it clears it out. If I'm in the memos section and I click on add new, it clears out this, grays out that, and I can add my new memo. Okay. All right, last but not least in the Rolodex, we have our accord form options. This is really truly reserved for our lien holders and certificate holders, although you may have that occasion where the insurance company is listed on an accord form as maybe a certificate holder or maybe something else. I'm not exactly sure. I couldn't tell you, but you guys know in the field better than I. So if we wanted to do a lien holder, okay, in my accord form options, we have Ford Motor Credit right here. Okay? And in my accord form options, on my certificate, if I was doing a certificate of property or a certificate of liability, okay, on my accord form, this is the way the information would appear. Ford Motor Credit, Post Office Box, Miami, Florida, Joe Smith, telephone number. Okay? And then down here in the accord form section, all right, this is where we would list all the information that pertains to this particular insured, any statements that they might make. We do have a cancellation section where we can strike endeavor to, strike failure to, and any written day's notice. Now once we update this information, it's stored here. What will happen is, let's go ahead and add a new certificate holder or a new lien holder. Okay, so I'm going to click on, I'm going to go here to company information. I'm going to click on add new. Okay. Whoops, I'm going to choose Homestead because that's easier. All right, so I'm going to click on Add New. And we're just going to say, I don't know. And I'm just going to enter in information. Okay, and I'm going to say that my contact name is Jane Smith, and she's in, I don't know, loan department. And we're going to go ahead and give her a fax number. All right. I'm not going to give her an email address or anything like that. I'm just going to simply update that information. I'm going to click OK. Now, since I have Wachovia Bank here, if I go to my Accord form options, you'll notice that Wachovia Bank, Jane Smith, 1 West Broward Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida is all listed right here for me. It automatically brought this information in. If I say this is an additional insured, okay, and I update this information, it'll update it and save it. Now, where does this information populate on the Accord form? Well, in the Accord 25, if I click on this little example link right here, what will end up happening is it'll bring up this screen right here that tells me the description of operations, okay, and that's where this information gets stored right here. And it will tell me when I add my certificate holder, it'll bring over the name and address of my client. So as you can see, or name and address of the certificate holder. Okay, very important stuff here. So we've got that information. It's listed in there, and that's how it would transfer over. It would transfer over just exactly the way that you see it. Now, let's say that I needed that certificate holder information to appear a bit differently on this. Maybe I didn't want Wachovia Bank, Jane Smith, 1 West Broward Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Maybe I didn't want it listed that way. Well, if I don't want it listed that way, I come over here to the right-hand side. You see where it says Import Data from Company Info Contacts tab? We click on that. When we click on it, we bring up this information, and we have to select company information. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this around. I'm going to put line, company name. Line 2, I want the address. And on line 3, I want the city, state, and zip. And in line 4, I want the contact name. Okay? And in line 5, I want the fax number. Okay? When I click OK, that information has now been changed. I got Wachovia Bank, 1 West Broward Boulevard. Okay? I've got Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Jane Smith, 954-555-1212. So I've changed all that information. There it is in black and white. As simple as that. So it's a pretty handy tool to have, especially if I don't like the way that it's all laid out. All right? So that being said, let's talk about what we can store in our employee information. It's going to ask me again, anytime I try and click out of it, it's going to ask me, do I want to update the Accord form options? I'm simply going to say yes, okay, and I'm going to go to the employee section. In the employee section, again, I can store any employee information that I want to. I can store personal information. I can store licenses, attachments. Okay, I can store photos. Now, just a second, guys. There we go. Oh, there's that funny picture of me and Amy arguing over that pop, that soda. All right, and then any photos and notes. Okay, so I have all that information listed in there. All right, that takes care of the Rolodex. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. When I close that out, I'm going to switch back over to QuickFile. Okay, and we're now back on the main menu. Now, from the Rolodex, we're going to jump over into QuickWord. QuickWord is our word processing program. It's really quite simple to use once you get the hang of it. But you have to understand what information you're trying to do here. What is it that you're trying to do with QuickWord? Well, in QuickWord, the only thing that we can do with this is we can only design letter templates. Guys, this isn't where you print your letters. It isn't where you fax your letters. It isn't where you email your letters from. You simply design it. Okay? You design the letter. So that being said, this is where we design all of our letter templates. Now, you wouldn't design a personal letter here for viewing. We'll show you how you can actually create your own letter on the fly. But what you will do here is you'll design broad templates, things that would apply to all of your clients, no matter what it is that you're doing. And we all refer to them as canned letters, okay? One size fits all. Well, that's exactly what we're doing here. So, just for giggles, let's open up a letter template so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. When I click on Open, it's going to bring up a list of all my letters for all my agencies. So what I'm going to do, for my drop-down menu, I'm just going to select Homestead. And you see that I have this customer renewal letter. I'm going to click on it and click OK. When I do that, I'm going to open up this customer renewal letter. You can see that I have certain items that have been bolded. First name, buyer date, line of business, first name, company, okay? And these funny little symbols, these brackets. Well, each one of these symbols represents a field in QuickFile. So if I highlight this for you so you can see it, line of business refers to the line of business in your QuickFile program, okay? My agency name is the information that we pull from your utilities so that it would display your agency's name in the middle of the letter. Okay? Expire date. If we're looking for the expiration date of a policy, that's going to come from the policy screen. Okay? First name. Okay? That's going to come from the client screen. All right, so you kind of get the idea. Now, what would happen if I printed out this letter? Well, if I printed out this letter, instead of just saying Dear and then in brackets first name, it would say Dear Joe or Dear Sally. Instead of putting line of business here, it would say auto or homeowners or commercial auto or general liability. Okay. Instead of the expire date, it would put 11/13/2008. Okay. That's what it does. So that's how the actual letter is getting populated with the information that you need. What's very important here is that you write this up as if you would write up any other letter to any of your clients. Okay? Take the most personal letter that you can possibly find in your arsenal of letters that you use in your everyday business, type it up in here, and replace that client's information with symbols that relate to what it was that you were talking about. Okay? So if you were talking about their auto policy, then replace auto, not auto policy, but just replace the word auto with line of business. Okay? So you kind of get the picture, and it's kind of making sense. This is one of those things where you just have to really come in here and play around with it. Now, where did I get all of these symbols? Okay? Where did I find them? Well, over here on the right-hand side, we have these series of double-click symbols. Now, right now, I have all categories being displayed here. Okay? So, and they are in alphabetical order. So if I'm looking for something specific, they're all listed right here. All right? If I want to narrow my search down to a specific screen in QuickFile, I simply select Client Screen. Okay? And maybe I want to pull the first name. Well, there's my symbol. Here it is over here. Okay? If I want to pull information from the policy screen, maybe I also need to pull over their premium. Okay? So if I did that, I would scroll down here and I would find the symbol that says premium. Okay? And there it is. And if I wanted to, I could double click and insert that in my letter. Now, you'll notice that over here as I highlight my symbol, this comes up in blue and it says this is the premium for this policy. All right? So what it's telling you is it's telling you exactly what information you're trying to capture. All right? Okay, now, over here on the right-hand side, we have foreign language letters with accents, okay, and some punctuation. We do have a copy and paste, but like I said, in most cases, you're going to want to use Control-C as in keyboard, or Control-C as in cat, and Control-V as in Victor on your computer to go ahead and copy and paste. All right, no right-click functionality in the QuickFile program itself. All right. So you'll want to use the Control-C and Control-V on your keyboard. We do have a small spell check in here. If you click on that, it will check the spelling of everything that you have here. Up at the very top, I have Main Menu, Advanced Editor, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. We've already talked about Open. If I wanted to type up a new template, I would just simply click on New. I can save this, or I can save it as. And I can also delete the letter. But remember, when you delete it, it's permanent. Okay. All right. So let's just go ahead and click on New, and let's kind of give you a walkthrough of what it does. You have two choices for your fonts. Okay. You have 4 choices for your different colors that you want to choose. All right. If you need something in red or a different font color, you can do that. You do have several font sizes to choose from. All right, maybe we want to put this in 12. All right, we can bold or italicize anything in here. All right, now let's go ahead and start typing up our letter. So if I want to put, let's say I was typing up to, dear, and what I would do is after the word dear, I would come over here, find my symbol that I'm looking for. Maybe I want it to go dear insured, or dear first name, or dear first and last name. Doesn't matter. I simply double click, and it inserts the symbol right there. Then I would add my punctuation. So, and again, notice that we're only typing up the body of the letter. Now, I want to say thank you for your recent purchase of blank insurance. All right? Well, since I know that the information is going to come from the line of business, I would simply come down here to the policy screen and go to the line of business. I would double click, and it would insert the line of business. So there we go. And as I type, okay, all right, so that might be my statement right there, okay? And maybe instead of, this going to have to, because this is going out to multiple people to can letter, all right, but I want to personalize it a little bit. So maybe I'm printing out all my thank you letters at the end of the week, all right, for all the policies that were sold and issued. So what I want to do is I want to pull in the agent who sold them from the policy screen. So what I would do is I would see agent from client screen. I would double click, and it would pull that information in. Now, at this point, I would say about your what? Policy, your blank policy. Okay? Again, I'm probably going to use line of business. All right? So I would pull from the policy screen the line of business symbol again and insert it. There we go. Okay, and then I would want to put maybe my agency name down here. Okay, or if I want, and like I said, if I want to put my agency name down here, what I would do is I would come over here where it says System, and I would find the symbol that says my agency name, double click, there it is. Okay, so that's how that all works. Now, once I'm done with my letter, I simply click on Save As, and I'm going to call this a thank you letter. All right, maybe I want this to be used in all my agencies, so instead of saving it to just Homestead, I'm going to save it to all. Okay, now over here on the left-hand side, you see where it says Language, and I have English marked. Okay, this is an English letter. All right, and in the training session, we talked about saving letters as English and as Spanish. You must first have the English counterpart saved before you select saving a Spanish letter. So please design it in its English counterpart first, and then design the Spanish counterpart. Okay? Much easier for you guys to work in QuickFile if you followed that procedure as opposed to trying to just do everything in Spanish or everything in French. Okay? English, we're fine. That's universal. But in Spanish, guess what? Not all my clients might speak Spanish. Now, you guys also have a vast majority of your clients that speak Spanish, and that's okay. And you can design all kinds of Spanish letters in here. But again, please make sure that just in case you have that one English-speaking client, that you place its English counterpart in there. Okay? So that being said, I'm going to click OK. And now that letter has been saved. Now, once that letter is saved, if I click on Open, see where it says A Thank You Letter for all offices. So there it is, A Thank You Letter, all offices. Now, you also can store and save letters. Okay, if I wanted to say Save As, okay, this is being saved as a letter. All right. If you want to design your own fax cover letter, you can. But heads up, guys, the fax cover letter or the email cover letter does not utilize the quick word symbols. Okay, so you cannot place the quick word symbols into the cover letters of any fax cover letter or any email cover letter. It just simply cannot happen. Okay? All right. Again, just a reminder, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I will be answering them at the end of the training session. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this. Now, I like this letter. I saved it. Okay? But you know what I don't like about this letter? I don't like the font. Okay? You know, I'm not a big MS Sans Serif person. Just not. Okay? So I want a different font. And we all have our preferences. So I've got my letter designed here, but I really don't like the font. What can I change it to? Well, I can't change it. I don't like Arial either. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button that says Advanced Editor. Now, when I click on that button, QuickFile is going to open up an Advanced Editor. Give me just a second, and I'll show that on your screen. Okay. Now, here's my Advanced Editor. Now I can do all kinds of things in the Advanced Editor. I can change my font. Look at all the fonts I've got available to me. There's all kinds of them. So I can change the font and use whatever it is that I want to. Okay? I have the ability to bold, italicize, and underline items that I want to. I have the ability to change it to different font colors if I want to. I can justify this. Okay, on the left, center, right, or I can justify both sides, which is usually the way I like to do things. If I need to add bullet points here, I could certainly bullet point it. If I needed to insert a hyperlink, I could do that and hyperlink something. All right, and I have a bunch of editing tools, pasting, toolbars, date and time, format. I can format the font, the paragraph, the bullet style. Okay, I can even perform a spell check in here. All right, so there's all kinds of things that I want to do. Well, let's go ahead and change the font, shall we? I'm going to highlight everything that I've got. Okay, and I'm just going to go scroll down here, and I'm just going to find, I don't know, let's try Calibri. Okay, there it is. I select it. There's my font. Notice that it changed. Okay. I'm going to put this in bold. Okay, and I may also want to add some information. And I'm just going to put some stuff in here. All right. Now, I've made all my changes here. I've changed the font. I've changed this, added that. Okay. When I close the advanced editor, okay, we'll bring that back up for you. Notice that all the changes that I made are listed here. Okay. So it changed my font. Okay. And it also inserted that information that I put in here. Now if I edit this out, it'll get rid of it. Okay, and I can delete that. All right, so there's all kinds of things that we can do in QuickWord. All right, let's show you how the actual, real quickly, we'll show you exactly how the policy or the letter is going to look now in QuickFile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to the main menu. When we go out to the main menu, I'm just going to say yes to save my changes. Actually, I'm going to cancel. Go to my client. Okay, I made those changes. Now, guess what, guys? I didn't save them, so that's okay. We really want to just see what the letter is going to look like, and I'm just going to select this one. Click OK. Select the policy. When I open up my letter, it's going to look exactly like this. Okay. Now, when I read this letter, guess what? It doesn't make any sense to me. Why doesn't it make any sense? Because when I inserted the line of business, I forgot to put insurance. Okay? So I know this. I can close it. Not going to save it. I'll go back to the main menu. When I go back into QuickWord, and you can see, guys, that as you get more comfortable with this, you'll be zipping around the system really fast. I'm going to go ahead and open up my letter. Click OK. I'm going to insert insurance. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and change that font. Save my changes. Go back out to the main menu. Now, when I'm back into QuickFile, I go to Print a Letter, select my letter, click OK, select my policy, and here it is. Okay? Now, you can see that my information has changed. Okay? Thank you for your recent purchase of auto insurance. We hope that you're extremely satisfied with the purchase. Okay, please feel free to contact Antonio. Why do I have to contact Antonio? Because he's the one listed on my client screen. Okay, about your auto policy. Sincerely, and then that's my agency name. Okay, yours would say whatever it is that your agency name is. Okay, close that. I'm going to select no, and as you can see in the client screen, I do have Antonio listed as the agent. All right, so that's how QuickWord works. All right, very quick lesson. Go out to the main menu. We don't have all that much to cover. Just bear with me. We're going to go into the mailroom. In the mailroom, this is where we actually print out all of our letters and our labels for all of our clients. This is where we do all of our bulk mailing. We do all of our emailing out of here if you're going to do a mass emailing or you're going to do a cross-marketing mail as well. You can do it all from the mailroom. Now, let's talk about doing just a basic, simple expiration letter. Now, the first thing that we notice here is that we have our letters that we have printed. Okay, so the radio button is selected that says Print Letters. What I have to do is I have to look for my search criteria first. How am I going to find my clients? Well, I want to search by expiration date. Okay, I want to search by client status active. I want to look for policy statuses that are active. I want to display them alphabetically. And I'm going to choose my customer renewal letter right here. Okay? And I'm going to look for all policies expiring between now and the end of the year. So I'm going to do 11/01/08 to 01/01/09. And you know what? That's not too far off. Whoops, forgot about that. I don't have my number lock on. Hang on just a second. 11/01/08. Hard to believe that the first of the year is right around the corner. Okay, now that I've got all my criteria selected, okay, I have to decide what my print options are going to be. I can print to the printer only. If I'm capturing email addresses and I'm really diligent in that, then I should have every email address that my clients have. I could email only if the email address is entered, okay, with no printer output. Or I could email if the address is entered, otherwise print to the printer. And then I could print to the printer and email if the email address is entered. So I could do both. Okay? This is one or the other. This is one. This is both. This is both of them as well. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply click on Print Letters. When I click on Print Letters, I'm going to process all my letters. Notice that I have 61 policies that are renewing between now and the end of the month or end of the year. So what QuickFile is doing is it's calculating or loading all those letters. This could take a minute. Okay, once it gets all those letters loaded, they will be displayed on my desktop, okay, so that I can preview them and make sure that they're all correct. Okay. Now, again, guys, we can't stress enough to you how accurate you have to be when you're entering your data. If you want good data to come out of QuickFile, you have to be really accurate to get it in. Very, very, very important. Okay. All right. So we're almost done with our letters. We've got less than 5 to go. All right. And again, here's my letter. Okay. Here it is. Here's all that information stored right here. Okay. And I have 61 letters, remember? So if I go down to the very end, I would see my final 61 letters. Okay. Now, everything is correct on here, so then I would just print all pages and QuickFile will do the rest. Okay. I can print this page. Now, if I'm doing a bunch of letters throughout the day, and let's say I don't want to print each one of them every single time. Let's say I want to store them up. And at the end of the day, I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to print all my letters out. Okay? I have one of two options. We've talked about this throughout the course of the week. Okay? If I click on Close and it tells me the letters were not printed, print later. If I select yes, it will store them in a letter queue that I have to select later to print. Okay? And it'll say print all unprinted letters. If I select no, it will delete the letters, which is exactly what I'm going to do because I don't want that thing to build up. So I'm going to select no. Okay? We have letters in queue. No. All right? Now, remember, I've got all of my labels that need to be printed out as well. Now, I've printed out my letters. Now let's print out my labels. When I click on Print Labels, I have the same thing that we saw yesterday in our training session, last name, comma, first name, last, insured, insured plus contact. Okay? So if I click on first name last, that's how I want my labels printed out. And I'm just going to click on Print Labels. Now I should get 61 labels to print. Shouldn't take it long to display that information for me. Okay. Because labels, remember we use Avery 5160 and 8160, and now here's my labels. Now when I open this up, it's going to be minimized. So let's click on it, make it a little larger. You will notice that I do have some that are actually duplicates. All right. For example, I've got Dean Reynolds listed twice. Okay. I got Francis Christensen listed twice. Okay. I've got other people listed twice. Jane Doe's listed twice. Well, you know what? I got all those letters that I got to print out, but I don't want to, spend twice the postage. Maybe I'll put a couple of letters in one. Okay, if I got clients that have multiple policies that are renewing at the same time, guess what? I may only want to, put those letters in the envelope once and print one label. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to go ahead and close this out, and it's going to say selecting no will delete all labels in queue, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, and I'm going to go to my filters option, and I'm going to select this little option here that says one label letter per client. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check that box there. I'm going to click on my print labels. Still says it's generating 61 labels, but guess what? I'll bet you I got, not more than 40 of them. All right, and you'll know now that I have Francis Christensen, okay? I have Francis Ingram, and I only have one listed here at a time. All right, okay, go ahead and close this out. Guys, hang in there with me. We're almost done. We've got about, we just got a few more minutes to go. All right. We also have the ability to do our cross-marketing from here. If I click on Use Cross-Marketing, I'm going to go by expiration date, active, alphabetically. If I check this box and say Use Cross-Marketing, I would then be looking for all my clients that are going to have auto policies but not homeowners policies. So I'm looking for these people. When I click OK and I select my letter, oops, let me go back. Letters. Cross-marketing. Okay, these are all my clients that have auto but not homeowners. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so there's my letters. All right, that's pretty much it for the mailroom. Again, a good suggestion for you guys is just to come in here and play around with it, use it, try it out, create a test client, get familiar with this. Go back out to the main menu, and let's go into our reports. Now in our reports, we're broken up into 4 different sections. We have financial reports, company reports, client reports, and reconciliations. Okay? If I want to run a daily closeout report and I want to see all my transactions this month, I simply select my daily closeout, group it by my agencies, click on Run Report. I'm going to see everything for this month. And there's my daily closeout. Okay? That's exactly what it's doing. It's tracking all of that information that I have listed in QuickFile. Okay? All my payments that I've taken in for the month. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and close that report. I also have my cross-marketing report. If I want to, I can run my cross-marketing report. Again, I'm using my defaults in my QuickFile program. I'm looking for clients that have auto but not homeowners. I'm looking by expiration date because that's always a good time to hit them up for another policy, especially if you're saving money on a previous policy. I'm just going to look for this year. I'm going to look for all clients that have auto but not homeowners. I click OK, and I'm going to run my report. When I run my report and make it a little larger, you can see that I'm giving you a lot of information here. The insured's name, address, email, cell phone, home phone. Okay? Work phone. I'm giving you the insurance number, line of business, the company, the effective and expiration date. Okay, so we're listing all that information here. Okay? For those of you who are administrators, if you wish to export this information to Excel, feel free to do so. You can export it to Excel and redistribute it however you feel necessary. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and close that. If I wanted to run a renewal report, I could do that for, let's say, next next month. I'm going to do next month. I'm going to click on Run Report. Okay, and here's my renewal report, and it looks just like every other renewal report. Okay, I've got my it looks exactly like what I need from all my information. Okay, I've got the company name, the effective, the expiration date. Okay, the policy number, the agent, the premium, the commission. So I've got all that listed right there. I'm going to go ahead and close it. Okay. Down here we have our commission reconciliations, our billing reconciliations. Yesterday in QuickFile we showed you how to add an insurance company's commissions. When you're ready to reconcile your statement against what you have in QuickFile versus what you have in the commission reconciliation, you simply select the commission reconciliation, you open it up. When you open up the commission reconciliation, what we're going to do is we're going to put in a date range of effective dates. And let's say I'm doing last month, 10. I'm just going to do a larger date range, 01, 01, 08. Okay. And I'm going to click on Show Unpaid. When I click on Show Unpaid, you'll see that all my commissions are out here that are outstanding are listed right here. Okay. A quick layout of the screen is to type the client, the company, the effective date, the policy number, and then you can see that I have the premium listed here, and I have the total commission listed here. What I have here in this column is monies that I've received so far. And then I have the commission received now. Okay? So in order for me to reconcile my commissions, let's say I've got this policy right here, written on November 12th, and I've got $1,600 here. Okay? In premium, and I've got $311.80 in commission. Let's say that I received that commission. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the commission received now. I'm going to hit $311.80. I'm just going to select from my drop down what it is. Okay, maybe it's an EFT. All right. And so now I've fully reconciled that commission. But there's one step left, and we'll go through that in just a second. For those of you who are on an as-earned basis, okay, you always only enter in the commission that you received at that particular point in time. Okay, so for example, let's say that I received another $40 on this. When I click on it, when I highlight these zeros, I'm going to put in $40. Okay, I'm going to select EFT. All right. Now I'm done reconciling my commissions. So in order for me to finish this step, I'm just going to click on Update Database. When I update the database, QuickFile is going to go back through. It's going to find all those clients, re-reconcile my commissions. Okay. Whoops. Reconcile my commissions here. And once it reconciles my commissions, you'll notice, okay, that this guy right here, the $240 commission, has now received $80 to date because we entered in an additional 40 bucks. Okay? Over here, the other one that was $311, it's gone. Why is it gone? Well, it's gone because we fully reconciled it. All right. Now, once you're done reconciling your regular commissions that you receive in your agency, you might want to reconcile your producer's commissions. You've got this handy little button here that says Producer Reconciliation. When I click on that, here's my producer reconciliation. It brought over the same dates. I simply click on Show Records. What's going to happen is QuickFile is going to bring over all that information for me to show. Okay, here it is, and here's all my producers that need to be reconciled. I can sort these by producer, company, or insured. It will list them in alphabetical order. And this works pretty much the same way as it does with the commission reconciliation. Things are a little bit different here, only simply because we have what's due to the producer and what we've paid to date to that producer. This producer here is owed $17.52, and we've only paid him 10 bucks. So let's go ahead and pay him that $7.52. All right. Once we pay him the $7.52, we're just going to say it was cash just for giggles. All right. This producer, we only got paid half of the money that was owed us, so we're only going to give him half. So I'm going to put in $16 here. Okay. Call that cash. All right. When I'm done, I'm going to click on Update Database. All right. So we're going to watch these top two. When I click on Update Database, I'm going to update that information. You'll notice that the first one is gone. The second one only has $16. So that means I have $16 left to pay them. All right. Now we got new business renewals rewrites, so that's what we're looking for. If I click on the paid button, this little where I want to show where the paid, what it is that I've paid, okay, here it is. And you'll notice that here's that policy that we paid fully. So now it's fully reconciled. Okay? There it is, and it's listed right there. Okay, so now I know that it's been fully reconciled. I can see everything that is paid and unpaid by clicking on the All. So that's our producer reconciliation report. Now I'm going to go back out to the menu of reports, and there's one last thing that we're going to talk about, and then we're done. Okay, so just give me another 5 minutes. We'll be all done with everything. All right, let's go ahead and talk about custom reports. When designing a custom report, it's very important to keep like items designed. Okay, so or use like items when designing a custom report. So let's say, for example, I want a report, a renewal report that shows just my auto policies that are coming due in the next month. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let's say I want to do next month's date. I'm going to do 12/01/08 to 12/31/08. And I'm going to select my search criteria, so I'm going to select my expiration date. It will ask me to reset today's dates. I don't want to do that. I'm going to look for all my active clients, all active policies. I want to sort them by date. Okay. Actually, you know what? I want to sort them by agent. Okay. I want to look for all business, new, renewal. I don't want to look for endorsements. Whoops, so I'm going to exclude endorsements. I'm going to force this as landscape because it's a little bit larger than normal. I want to group each sort by. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group it by agent, and I'm going to start each group on a new page. In my filters screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, I already selected my agent. I want to look for the line of business auto. I want to look for the all companies. Okay. And I also, in the show these fields, I want to see my premiums and my commissions. Okay. Any additional dates? Maybe I want to see the effective date. Okay, I'm looking by expiration date, but I really want to see the effective date as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on Run Report. When I click on Run Report, you'll notice that I only have, I've got these two clients, and you're thinking, well, Brett, this is a really small report. No, down here at the very bottom, we have these page buttons right here. Remember, I grouped it by agent, and I started each new agent on a new page. So if I go here, here's Sam, here's the policy. If I keep going, I got Tricia, I got all their policies. So this is what I've got listed here. Okay? So now I've got 3 pages, and I can see everybody that's coming up for renewal. All right? So that's how my renewal report runs. And I was only looking for auto policies. Remember that. Now, you'll also notice that, guess what? I only found people that were linked to the Homestead office. Maybe I'm trying to run this for all my agencies. So we'll go ahead and close this out. I'm going to redo my report. Select all. Okay. Let's do a little larger date range so we get some more numbers in here. So let's go. Okay. So now there's everybody. And now I've got a little larger report. I've got 7 pages. Okay, and I've got different agents attached to each one. The agent's name's listed up here. Okay. So I can hand that out to all my producers in the office and say, okay, guys, here's your renewals for next month. Okay. Here they are. Get working. Okay. Here's all your auto policies that are going to be renewing. Okay. Now, I really like this report So I'm going to click on Save Report Template. When I click on Save Report Template, I'm just going to call it Customized Renewal Report. When I click OK, it's going to save that information. All right. And now you can see that my report name is Customized Renewal Report. If I click on Open Report Template, you can see the Customized Renewal Report for Homestead is listed. There it is, right there. Okay. If I click OK, it'll ask me to run that report. Click OK again. There's my report. Okay. Same 7 pages, same information. Again, I can close that and save it. Now, if I want to run that report all the time, I can come over here to my standard reports. I can right-click on Custom To, and I can select Customize Renewal Report, click OK, select my agency, and there it is. Now it's listed, Customize Renewal Report. Okay, so now I have it listed right here, and if I click on it and run my report, it'll show me the same information that I've been showing you for the last couple of minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our training session. That's your report section. I want to congratulate you guys on making it through the week-long session. Again, if you have any questions, I'm going to leave those open for another 5 minutes. Go ahead and ask any questions that you have regarding the webinar. I want to thank everyone. Have a great weekend. If you missed anything or you feel that you want to come back and take the training again, please join us next week. The webinars are posted on our website, and feel free to sign up for those. I want to thank everyone again. Everybody have a great evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow or talk to you next week. Bye now.